What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Hoop State Live podcast. Miles Mastrocola here with Rod Bridgers. No Simmons tonight, but we'll try to bring the energy to make up for his absence. Rod, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good. I can't complain. Back in Raleigh, back in my childhood bedroom, so I get to.
I was gonna say, man, it looks a little team boppish in there right now, but
it's not in my room anymore. My stepbrother took it over, so I like. When I have to kind of like pick my spots when I come home when he's at his dad's house. So I gotta,
Tell your stepbrother it's a nice touch with the teal walls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So speaking of shades of blue,
yeah,
it's been an interesting week in Chapel Hill. It feels like it's been the center of the sports universe, and we were on Instagram Live the other day talking about it a little bit. Right. But now that we've had a couple days to kind of reflect on it, we're sitting here Friday night. It's been probably 36 hours since everybody heard the news or so.
Yep.
How are you feeling about the state of North Carolina basketball now that Roy Williams is no longer the head coach?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm hurt. I've bled Tar Heel blue since the day I was born, and for me, I vividly remember the days of, Dean Smith winning the championship in '93. Like I remember watching Vince going to Carolina and Duke when they were number 1, 2 in the country when Vince Carter and Antoine Jamison was there. I just have so many memories of being a Carolina fan. I mean, obviously for me over the last 5 or 6 years, it's kind of changed a little bit just because, having family members playing college basketball and, just knowing a lot of the guys. So it just made it hard for me to be a fan of one team. But like, make no mistake about it, like my love for UNC basketball still runs deep. So yesterday was kind of like a gut punch, man. Like we talked about. When I first heard it, I was like, it's April Fools, man. Like they're BSing us. Mm-hmm. But when I saw the actual tweet from UNC basketball page, I was like, whoa, like my heart literally dropped to my stomach. And it's tough, man. One thing I share with everybody, I've talked about this in the last day. Roy literally saved Carolina basketball. Real quick, 2000, Carolina went to the Final Four under Bill Guthridge. That year, he retired after that year. We brought in Matt Doherty, and it was 3 years of some shit. Like, the one thing that Matt Doherty did great was he brought in the best recruiting class in the country with Raymond Felton, Sean May, Rashad McCants. People don't know Roy told them no in 2000 initially. Mm-hmm. He told them no because he made a promise he made to Nick Collison. He told that story again yesterday. But for Roy to come back in 2003 again when Doherty was fired, like he literally saved Carolina basketball. Like, as being a blue blood, there's this expectation that, you're always going to be on the top of the mountain in college basketball. And for a brief moment there, Carolina wasn't it, man. And it was going down quick. But all credit to Roy Williams, he got there. He, righted the ship. And 2 years later, they won a championship, So I just think for that alone, like I think Roy's forever goated in my eyes for that. Just, and everything he did after that, just the 5 Final Fours and the 2 other national championships, 9 ACC tournament. I mean, like, just Roy's he's done so many great things. So,
yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. And I grew up on the opposite side of it. I grew up kind of rooting against him.
Right.
But obviously before I developed any sort of maturity, I'm like, oh, Roy Williams sucks, but then you kind of grow up and you realize, like, probably like middle school, high school, it's like, yeah, this guy, he's done some special things. Like,
I'm gonna tell you where it changed for you. When you used to go to all those John Walls, the holiday invitationals, and you see Roy sit down on the baseline, all the coaches, and at halftime, Roy would stand up, take pictures with literally everybody who came over there. Whereas you saw other coaches, they sit up top and chill, don't want to be bothered. You know what I mean? So, not throwing no shots at anybody, but those things like that, those give you those vivid memories of Roy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's a man of the people. Like, he's North Carolina basketball. Like, he embodies good old boy North Carolina basketball. And that's an era that is kind of evolving into something different. And Roy was really that figurehead of just, like, he embodied what the state's all about. And I think for me, like, you look at the coaches, you look at Roy, you look at Coach K, you look at Tom Izzo, Jim Boeheim, the old guard, so to say.
Right.
And this is the first, what feels like domino to fall. We're about to hit it in the NBA with, we had it with Dwayne Wade and then, LeBron and Chris Paul and Melo, and those guys are kind of on the end of their career. Mm-hmm. And like, for me, like from the generation that I'm in, like, I started to get into basketball where Roy Williams, really that in the 08, 09 era, like the Ty Lawson stuff, that's like my first like vivid Carolina basketball memory, like crazy. And You just think about him. Like, you don't think about Carolina basketball with Roy Williams not being the coach, or at least you didn't until recently.
Yeah.
So now that we're shifting into this era, it feels like the great unknown. And it's like, okay, next year, another one's probably going to retire. It feels like it's probably going to be Boeheim. It's his son's last year, and he has another son that's on the portal that's probably getting ready to come in from, I think, Cornell. So
Yep.
yeah. So you think, okay, Boeheim's next, and then it might be Izzo, and then it might be K, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And people criticize those guys all the time. So they're still very old school. Boeheim criticized Walker Kessler like today.
He did.
And people are coming at him for it. And I'm not going to come at Jim Boeheim for that. It's Jim Boeheim. Like, that's who, like, they're old school. Like, you can't expect them to change anything else, especially when the way that they are has gotten them to the point where they are today. So
1,000%.
It just feels like a shifting of the guard. We talk like it's kind of crazy.
It's surreal to think about, like, you don't think about UNC basketball and not think Roy Williams,
Mm-mm.
And it's just like Roy's 70 years old, and we're thinking like, damn, like, Roy, how long is Roy gonna coach? Like, we just feel like, oh, we're looking at the 2023, 24 class, like, damn, that's 3-4 years from now. Like, Roy is still coach. Like, it's a long time away, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know. It's definitely a tough day yesterday.
Yeah, not 100%. Yeah, like, and especially for like me, like, you got to see the Smith era. I can't remember Dean Smith coaching Carolina. I was in diapers. Like, I'm too young for that. So Roy Williams is Carolina. Like, I don't remember anything else but Roy Williams at Carolina.
Right.
It's just it's crazy, but it felt like a couple weeks ago that program was kind of falling to pieces in ways, and it feels like it doesn't feel as much of that now, with especially Caleb Love coming back. And obviously I think Baycott still has a decision to make. The two commitments have said that barring unforeseen circumstances with the new hire, that they're all locked in, that they're not going to ask out of their letter of intent or anything like that.
Yeah.
So where do they go from here? Feels like it's Hubert Davis or Wes Miller, right?
Right. Just my, just talking to people and, sources, things like that. Traditionally Carolina, some of the Dean Smith started that. That job is a sacred job, and it's something they want to keep in the Carolina family. I think the issue right now is what they're trying to figure out is there one person that's qualified to take this job? Like Bubba Cunningham said on the Zoom call last night I was on. He said this is the best job in college basketball. The head coach of University of North Carolina. That's you hold that to in a high regard. So. We talk about the two candidates like that everybody's saying. I mean, obviously Hubert Davis has been on the Roy for a number of years. He played for Dean Smith. So, I mean, Hubert Davis is Carolina basketball. The problem with Hubert Davis is doesn't have any coaching experience in terms of being a head coach outside of being a JV coach. I think me personally, as at Carolina, you can't give somebody a job that has zero coaching experience. I don't think that's possible. That's just my personal opinion. Then we got Wes Miller. Wes Miller has done a hell of a job at UNC Greensboro. 21 seasons, 4 out of the last 5 years, 2 NCAA tournament appearances. I mean, just the job the things he's done at UNCG in a short amount of time has been spectacular. Now the question with people with Wes is, well, he did it at UNCG. Can he do it at UNC? To kind of give you that example, you kind of look like Archie Miller when he went from Dayton to Indiana. Like, is it too big of a jump for him?
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the two main question marks right now. You've been hearing some outside names, Jay Wright, you hear the Brad Stevens and
Few,
LaVelle Moe. And I mean, I get it, but this job is going to stay within the Carolina family. This one will. This is my personal opinion. So,
yeah, and I think Wes is the guy. I do. I like. It just feels like, even though if it doesn't feel like there's a perfect candidate, and I feel like that's what everyone was talking about.
Right.
And there's been way more speculation about who's going to take Duke over than who's going to take Carolina over, just because it feels like there's, obviously Wojo didn't work out. It doesn't feel like Jeff Capel's working out, but there's a lot of candidates in the Duke. There's a lot more viable candidates in the Duke coaching tree right now than it felt like in the Carolina coaching tree.
True.
But with that being said, Wes Miller being so young, being the fact that if he doesn't get this opportunity, he's probably going to take another high major job next offseason, or potentially one this offseason. Texas Tech just opened up. So who knows? But I do think Wes is the guy because if you hire him now, he's young and can make this program his own, and it could be the last job that he takes. Like I mentioned that, like I feel like I mentioned that on Instagram. Like you want a guy where this is the last job that he ever takes.
Right, I agree.
So, I feel like the jump may be big and there might be some growing pains, but we'll see. I feel like if Roy, especially the fact that Roy's helping with the decision, they're going to make a good decision.
I think so too. It's gonna be a quick decision too. I think we're gonna know who the next coach is probably the next 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, no, Carolina basketball just a monumental day in the history of the Hoop State, and there's no other way to put it.
Right.
Speaking of the Hoop State, we did our voting for the awards. By the time you're listening to this, they will be revealed, and we all filled out our ballots. We all took the exam. Some passed, some failed, but the results there was a curve, and everybody's played an equal factor into it. Just for total transparency, how it worked was we had, I believe, a total of 8 people vote, and we'd like to expand that in the future as we're starting together. We'd probably like to have anywhere from 2 to 3 dozen people voting on this next season. But we did it exactly like the NBA, where if you get voted for first, everybody picks 5 people for each award. First is 5 points, second is 4 points, so on and so forth. And the same thing for the teams, the all Hoop State teams, all rookie teams, which would be the freshman teams, and all defensive teams. So I guess quickly we'll just run award by award. Coming in first for player of the year, it felt like the obvious pick. It wasn't the obvious pick from a points perspective. He only beat out second place by 2 points, but it was Terquavion Smith winning player of the year. He has to sweep the player of the years in North Carolina this year, and he got ours. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think just the year that he had and to cap it off with his with third state, is that 3 in a row? That's 3-peat, right? 3 in a row state championships. Scored over 2,000 points in high school. Just electric, man. It's every way, any way you put it. Like Baby T just put on a show this year, and I think he's more than deserving of any and every award. I think he's won Max Prep so far. He's won ours.
Mm-hmm. Gatorade coming next.
Gatorade's coming next, right?
Has to be. I mean, he's on another level. He had 35 points. Robert Dillingham had 33 points. Benjamin Burnham had 19 points. Breon Pass had 17 points. And Jonas Adu had 10 points, rounding out the top 5. For Coach of the Year, we had Jeff McGinnis of Combine Academy win the award. Jeff, weirdly enough, did not receive a single first place vote, but still won the award. Everybody had him either second or third, which I think just speaks to the overwhelming amount of respect that everyone has for the job that he did at Combine this year. And I think people say, oh, it's easy to coach talent. It's easy to coach talent. That's what the naysayers are going to say.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. Now, I think Jeff did a hell of a job in just getting everybody to buy into what they want, the way they wanted to play. Like I said, the whole question mark for Combine coming into the year was you just lost a 5-star in Jalen Hood-Schifino, and your team is going to be led by a young, super talented Robert Dillingham, who's never really, he didn't really have that experience as being the lead guy on like the Rocks, the lead star in the band. Defense is gearing up against him every night, and credit to Jeff and that staff for getting those guys prepared. And they had some lumps early in terms of just trying to figure it out, but they figured it out really quick. Really quick. Yeah. And I think Jeff, I mean, it's just a hell of a year. But me personally, I mean, I have no shame in telling you I voted for Coach Ellis at Moravian.
So did I. I think me and you were the only two that voted for him first. He got some other votes too. Right.
And the reason I voted for Coach Ellis is because I think what he did with that team and with everything that happened mid-year, and all of a sudden they just flipped the switch, and it just the way that team played and the way he got the most out of those kids, I just think that was nothing that could be ignored. So that was my vote for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, same for me. So it was Jeff McGinnis first with 22 points. Larry Williford was second with Jeff had 27. Larry had 22. Mike Wright finished third at Liberty Heights with 17 points. Jeremy Ellis finished with 13 points at fourth, and Shea Roth of Cannon had 11 points.
I like that.
Those were all those guys made it very, very far in their.
Bernardi didn't get no love.
Bernardi got 9 points. Bernardi was right off 6. Coach of the Year probably had more. Coach of the Year and improved player were probably the two that had the most parity of any. Bernardi got votes. Gary Ellington of Weddington got a lot of votes.
Mm-hmm.
So, there were plenty of coaches that were very well deserving. And, that's why I think we need to, next moving on, diversify the poll a little bit, get more people involved from all around the state. But that's definitely in the works for next year. Defensive Player of the Year. This is another close one, man. A very, very close one. Omarion Broderick, congratulations. You win Defensive Player of the Year. You got 35 points. Jonas Adu had 30. It was super close. I voted for Omarion for First of the Year. And it may not even be because of what he does individually defensively. It's just the tone that he sets every time he steps on the floor, that him being out there on the floor makes everyone on the floor a better defender just simply with what he brings. And
absolutely.
Is that who you voted for as well?
Absolutely. And it was tough for me because that's probably the one I wrestled back and forth with, because I think I had Jonas second as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just tough. And ultimately, I think I chose Omarion just because I felt like, just like you said, him being that free safety on defense in terms of being a rim protector, it's just, the way he hedged on screens, the way he moved. And make no mistake about it, Jakari Owens was just as good defensively out there as well, like rotating and being those guys. But I think Broderick was that loud defender where he made those big plays for them. He jumped past lanes. He did a little bit of everything. Like, he was a junkyard dog. So that was, for me, that gave me the edge. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it was Omarion with 35, Jonas with 30, Benjamin Burnham had 15 points. PJ Edwards and Kenny Nolan, two great on-ball perimeter defenders, probably the two best on-ball perimeter defenders in the state. They both had 11 points, and then AJ Allensbach had 4 points because of just the fact that he had to guard every position for Lake Norman Christian this year and held it down.
He did.
Most improved player. This was very, very tightly contested. There were cases to be made for a lot of different players if you really looked at it. I was talking with Jeff Bendel about it. He was one of the people that voted. And one of the things that he said was, how much do I calculate improvement versus elevated role? And that's the balance with an award like this. It ended up being Kenny Nolan winning the award over Silas Demery Jr. by 1 point. Who did you vote for in this category?
I voted Demery Jr. for that one, I think. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I think Demery Jr., because I just think, obviously, I think it was a combination of both with Silas. I mean, obviously, he had an elevated role with, all those guys leaving last year, this year. But I think what he did, the way he took that role, and, there were times when you watched Millbrook, you saw Eric was committed to Louisville and Red Dunton going to Purdue Fort Wayne, and it was just like, is it Silas' team?
A lot of times it felt like it was, and I feel like if you were to ask Eric or Red, they'd be like, yeah, at times it definitely was his team.
Right. So I think for me that was kind of what but no, Ken, I think I put Kenny second or third, but Kenny had a hell of a year, man. I've been a fan of Kenny Nolan for a long time, watching him play. Like I said, I got a chance to coach him in the top 80 as well. He's just so cerebral. He understands basketball, understands how to play the game, man. You root for a kid like Kenny because he plays the right way. He's a great kid. Yeah, definitely. He'll be going prep next year. Just announced that he'll be in the class of 2022. I know some of those Ivy League schools are they have guys coming back that they wouldn't have expected at the start of the year. Hey, go prep. We'll gladly take you. I think that's going to end up being the move, is for Kenny to go to the Ivy League. So, and it makes sense. That's the kind of player he is. So he got 19 points. Silas Demery Jr. had 18 points. MJ Collins had 11 points. He's another one that really burst onto the scene. My first place vote, Jonas Adu, finished fourth with 9 points. And then Colin Tanner and Robert Dillingham tied for 8 points. Dillingham's most improved player case was sneaky, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, moving on to freshman of the year, the only unanimous winner, Jaron Stevenson of Northwood. I mean, to be a freshman, to be the best player on your team, and lead your team to a state championship appearance in 3A public school, like what else is there to do as a freshman?
Nah, man, he just watching him, man. He gives me shades of young Harry Giles, man.
Yep.
I've seen this story before, man. And he's just a special kid, special talent. I got a chance to watch him in state championship game against Weddington. And he's just a special kid, man. Just, I'm excited to watch him grow over the next 3 years. If you're a betting man, he's going to be featured on Hoop State a lot here the next couple of years. So get ready. You'll see a lot of Jaron Stevenson. So excited to see him.
I got phone calls from the preseason from Anthony Bruton and Colby Lewis, like, yo, stop all that 2024 talk. He's here in Pittsburgh. And there's 2 more with him who can really go too.
Yeah.
And Drake Powell and Fred Whitaker. So
Mm-hmm.
he got 40 points. Every single person that voted him first. The only unanimous or single individual award winner, which is crazy. Bishop Boswell finished second with 15. Zion Walker, third with 13. Hampton Evans, fourth with 12. And then Drake Powell, Jaren's teammate, had 11 points in his own right. Moving on to sixth man of the year. This one was probably the most difficult to vote for just because it was kind of tough to tell. They don't really keep track of games started on Max Preps. So sometimes it was hard to kind of look at who was coming off the bench. But Patrick Wessler ended up winning this award with the impact that he had off the bench this year for Combine. What did he do that you felt was deserving of that award?
Like he was like that ultimate relief pitcher, like that eighth inning when with games close and you got that or excuse me, ninth inning when you got that Mariano Rivera that you could throw in there and just give me a bunch of strikeouts. Like Wesley was just that change of pace guy, like where we knew O'Bara flying around the court and things like that, being that guy defensively. Pat was a great defender as well too, but what Pat gave him offensively, he took them to another level because now you had a true post-up threat there, somebody you can run your offense through. And just the improvement that he made from day one at Combine to the Hoop State Championship, like unimaginable, like just moving his feet, just being in better shape. I think Pat and Jeff were a match made in heaven. I think they both needed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree. And it was real spooky when you saw Pat at the scorers table and Combine was up 14. It's like, hey, we're about to slow the game down and try to make it 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing. It's like, yo, we're down 12 to them and he's coming in. Damn. A footer with an automatic left hook.
Yep.
So no, he was great. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the show with what he's done with CC Elite. So he won the award with 38 points. Kyle Bean at Carmel Christian had a great season coming off the bench for them. A truly defined six man, like never started, but played a whole lot. Yeah. He had 17 points. Chris Robinson, 14 points. Jeremy Baker and Mike Dudley tied for 11 points. And then Tony Waters of North Mech had 9 points. So the first team all Hoop State, the two Sloan unanimous selections were Robert Dillingham and Terquavion Smith, both with 24 points. You have Breon Pass, who was nominated to the first team, Ben Burnham and Jonas Adu. No error there, correct?
That's fair. That's accurate. Yeah, that's accurate.
Those are the five guys that, probably stood above the rest, at least in a lot of ways. It felt like when you include team success, playoff performance, and what they had to do to get their team to where they got them.
Right.
Second team, Bobby Pettiford, LJ Thomas, Jarvis Moss, BJ Freeman, Eric Vanderheiden were the second team. So you think about, Millbrook winning a state championship. Eric Vanderheiden had a big performance in the state championship game, fouled out in overtime. BJ Freeman, what he did for Moravian all year. Mm-hmm. Jarvis Moss just making shots.
Back-to-back state champion.
Facts. And carried his team to the second one along with DJ Nix.
Yeah.
LJ Thomas burst onto the scene in the Hoop State. If there was a newcomer award, it might have been him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he came in and proved to everyone. And we're going to see it a whole lot this summer on the network, especially. But he is on something. And then Bobby, man, Bobby ended his career with a great season. Came up short in the playoffs against Farmville, but everything that happened with him postseason, with him having a decommit from Louisville, now going to Kansas, he gets second team all Hoop State his senior year for a kid from 2A. You got to think about it, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So congrats to them. And if you made any of these teams or even got honorable mention, like there's a whole other list of kids that got honorable mention that we can't name in here.
True.
That, if you received votes for this, you did something special this year. Looking down at the third team, you had Jamari Thomas, DeMarco Dunn, Dontrez Styles, Elijah Gray, and Deontay Green on the third team. So, man, just a ton of kids that can really, really play. And there were some ones that were close that couldn't quite get on that list. You look at, some of the late Norman Christian guys that had some votes but didn't quite get on the list. Jaron Stevenson got votes. Aiden Holloway, Chris Ford, Daniel Sanford, Khalil Mading. Even just what does it mean? What do you think it means for a kid just to even receive votes for something like that?
I think it's a testament to the depth of the state in the Hoop State right now. We're talking about some high level kids that didn't make the team, but it's just kind of like the NBA, honestly. Like when you have three teams, they're gonna be guys you're like, damn, I can't believe he didn't make the All NBA team. And it's the same here. Like, all 15 guys that made that team were more than deserving of making that team. But there's a case for another 15 to 20 guys that could have made it.
Yep.
I think we're all in a general consensus that first five kind of separated themselves a little bit in terms of their performances this year and things they did, just putting a team on their back. But then, like you said, after that, it kind of gets kind of where, okay, well, you can say this or that. Like, for me personally, I'm not telling everybody. I mean, I voted like Silas Demery in my second team just because what he did in the playoffs. Like, I think that run he had in the playoffs, averaging close to 25 points a game, and obviously what he did in the state championship, things like that can't be ignored. I mean, we talk about a kid like Mikey Williams.
Yep.
Mikey had a good year. Like, I think the expectation for Mikey and reality are two different things.
Yeah, and I also think not playing in the playoffs hurt him a little bit too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think when people watch the videos and stuff like that, it's kind of been like sensationalized to a point where people think, well, okay, he's going to North Carolina, he's doing this in California, he's going to get 40 a game in Carolina. Now, granted, Mikey could get 40, like we saw it, but I think the people just look at Mikey and I think that their assessment or their judgment, what they thought he should be, was a little too unrealistic. Like, I think they were expecting him to come be
the second coming, honestly.
Yeah, like Jalen Shuttlesworth.
Yeah, and he's a sophomore. Honorable mention. Who said honorable mention as a sophomore? That list of kids up there is almost all. I think the only non-junior or senior on the list is Robert Dillingham.
Yeah.
Everyone else is a junior or senior, and it's almost all seniors. So
yeah,
like it's to get honorable mention as a freshman or sophomore, like Jaron Stevenson getting votes. And then you think about a kid like Kenny Nolan, who won most improved, got defensive player of the year votes, but still didn't make any of the first three teams. Like that,
right?
Like it's tough. It's tough to crack one of those teams, man. Like
absolutely.
But yeah, looking down to the defensive team, the only unanimous selection for who everyone voted him first team was Bodrick. You had PJ Edwards, Kenny Nolan, Breon Pass, Omarion Bodrick, Jonas Adu as first team. They all, I mean, again, like Kenny and PJ, good luck scoring.
Yeah.
Good luck scoring on that. And then you move down to the second team. You have Jamari Thomas, Silas Demery Jr., Chris Ford, Ben Burnham, and AJ Allensbach. And there were guys like Ja'Cory Owens, William Gray, Omarion Johnson, Elijah Jameson, Leonte Moy, Josh Bullock, AJ Smith that all got votes, but couldn't quite crack those two teams.
Yeah. Saying that was two pretty good teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving down to the all freshman teams, this is another tough one. But the two all freshman teams, Jaron Stevenson he was unanimous again. Drake Powell was also on that team. Jasheem Felton, Bishop Boswell, and Zion Walker all made the freshman first team. And then on the second team, it was Hampton Evans, Kobe George, Jordan Vick, Paul McNeil, and Raquise Passmore, the kid out of the western part of the state that got that Wichita State offer, who had a big year. So yeah, you think about the 24 class, the freshmen coming in, there were a lot of guys that were really good that didn't get on the team, got honorable mention. You look at kids like Mario Hansen, Zion Collins, Dylan DeLuca, Isaiah Sutherland, Lewis Walker. What does it say about the future of the state when you see those young guys on that list like that?
Yo, I watched Jordan Vick live in effect last weekend. Oh my God. He got second team in this. He's probably gonna end up being top 5 in the class. I think the mid-season transfer probably hurt his votes from that department. Still very deserving. And the kids on the first team are great too. But for sure.
Special
kid, man.
Oh my God, man. Already been playing with two teams, playing 2 age groups all summer too.
He's been playing up. So no, shout out to Team Trez, man.
Facts. Putting on for the Rocky Mount area, the ENC area. That team seems like that team, that program. I guess that's a good transition in AAU. Is now we sit here with that. Is we could talk about Team Trez real quick because you got to see them this past week in Rocky Mount. Yeah, it feels like ENC has been longing for an AAU team to really put its back behind them for a while. And Team Trez, I'm sure they're not. They still want to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but they're on the trajectory to becoming that program, that marquee ENC program, if they're not already, right?
They're doing the thing. They're doing it the right way. Like they're developing kids. They're putting the kids first. It's not a program where it's all about it's not a we program. It's a me program. It's a we program. And shout out to Coach Taylor and those guys out there, man. They're just doing a hell of a job with those kids. And like the kid from Rocky Mount on the 16s, Townsend, he's tough as well too, bro. Lord, like they got some kids over there, man. And I think people need to start taking notice of what Team Trez is doing out of ENC.
Yeah, no, they're gonna have Division I, Division II, Division III coaches lined up for kids in that program at all ages. So
For sure.
no, definitely keep that going. AAU started back up. We had a ton of events last weekend. We were live up at the Phenom opening in Virginia Beach. Got to see Team Loaded, the 2 Team Loaded Virginia, the Team Loaded NC teams, and CC Elite. Hoop Scene Tip Off had a big event. They had Garner Road and Team Curry down there. What were kind of some of your takeaways just kind of from I know you were taking in the action kind of from afar. What were you kind of keeping track of?
Just kind of see who's with who. Obviously, AAU, you see a lot of people, they say they with somebody, but then when they pop out, they with somebody totally different. So for me, I was just kind of see who was with who. I saw Team Loaded had some guys. I saw you said I think Noah and Freddie were hurt right now. You said I think
Noah and Freddie actually had identical injuries, but nothing too serious. Noah was up there, and then they're also going to add MJ Rice. I think he's going to be. I think Caleb Foster and MJ Rice will return to their fifth. What I'm trying to think, the 15th or so. They're going to be back. Not the next weekend in Rocco, but after.
So. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So, but no, just looking at different teams, just trying to see. Who's developing early, good chemistry with teams, and who's going to kind of be that problem. I saw Team Curry. They had a decent weekend. They took one on the chin to Florida Pro.
The twins, man, they got 2 sets of twins in Florida Pro. Apparently, just thrashing everybody.
Yeah, so those are the same kids, the twins. I think beat Combine, right? With West Oaks. Is that the same twins?
No.
Oh,
the West Oaks twins are the Bruley twins. They play with Showtime, a Florida team. I think they have a set of twins going to UCF, and then I think the names of the Thompson twins. They're like apparently like McDonald's All-American level good, playing on an independent team. So, yeah, Team Curry wasn't the only one, so don't get it twisted. I'm sure they didn't feel great about that. They still finished 3-1 on the weekend, but
right,
yeah, right. But not Loaded. NC is going to be really good. The kid that I'm excited about with them, who I think is going to probably be a Hoop State blow-up candidate. There's always 2 to 3 every summer. Sin-Q Lemon, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, his neck's at the rim. He's like 6'5", 6'6". Great elevation on the shot. Can make off the dribble threes. Can make off the catch threes. Defends 3 or 4 positions.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to play the 4 because they don't really have a true big on their roster.
Right.
He had to play a lot of 4 and embraced it. Like was hanging out at that free throw line area. Was doing pick and pops, was doing whatever he could to contribute to the team.
Right.
And then we got Eastern Kentucky, which I think was his second Division I offer. So he's going to be really good with that group. And then, just watching LJ Thomas run the show has been fun, but that Team Loaded Virginia team, man.
It's going to be interesting to see them like Brett throwing MJ in that mix because they got a lot of guys that can go get it. And I think they're going to be a really good team. Obviously Thomas Carr is a great coach. I think he'll do a great job of getting those guys to buy in. But adding MJ into that fold it's gonna take that team to a entirely different, dynamic.
Yeah, no, definitely, and they were definitely short in their rotation. I think they really only had 7 guys. So, if they get Noah and Freddie back with MJ, that's, and other guys can kind of fall back into their natural roles. It's gonna be good, and they did their thing. That Loaded Virginia team with Jaden Epps and Donald Hand in the backcourt, Tyler Nickel. They're going to give teams trouble all year. And they got a ton of guys coming off the bench that can really contribute. Kenyon Giles was really good. Alfonso Billups was really good. And then getting a good look at that CC Elite team was fun to watch. They had Loaded NC down by 10 with like 6 minutes left. And then Gabe Proctor went on like a 9-0 run by himself to get them back into the game.
Oh, wow.
But that, we talked about it a little bit. They're beating circuit teams this summer.
Right.
And what do you think about the dynamic between like Lowe, Wessler, and Cook and Frazier? Really, those 4. What about that 4 makes them so dangerous just from the way that they play?
First of all, they're winners. When you win, and if you won at a high level, you know how to win basketball games. You know what to do in certain moments. And second thing, those kids aren't scared, bro. I think people when you look at them when they play at Weddington or whatever, people like try to discredit them. Them kids are some killers, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And they compete and they hoop and they play the game the right way. Anytime you do those things and you got great coaching, great staff over there at CC Elite, I think you always have a chance to be in a basketball game. You're always gonna have a chance. And then you got a footer. You got a guy like AJ Cook who's rock steady, who's not gonna turn the ball. He's not shots down. A kid like Chase Lowe who just gets down. He's just a downhill assassin, can get anywhere on the court, and he's a big guard. He's a facilitator as well too.
Mhm.
You got a guy like Kyle Frazier who's just tough as nails, bro. Like he does little things. I remember watching him the first time last summer. Like I remember calling my cousin Bryson. I was like, "Yo, you got to get on that kid, bro." Like he had a guy. He was just catch and shoot, get to the basket, doing the dirty. Like everybody plays their role for CC Elite. That's what makes that team so great.
Definitely. We saw another good independent team in District Basketball Club up there as well. CJ Lee had a great weekend. Michael Myrie, a guy that we've seen a lot. He's playing with them as an unsigned senior. He had a good weekend. So it was good to go up to Virginia to see that. We had to deal with some Karens, I feel like is the word to say from the facility standpoint.
Oh,
Donnie had a little you're not gonna tell me what to do, Donnie moment.
Not our Donnie. No, Donnie
would never.
Donnie never has moments. What? No.
Ever. No. Never with anybody. I don't know. It was just completely out of the blue. Just like what? But no, it was fun. It was a good weekend. Good to be up there. Hotel was right across the street from the facility. Perfect setup. I'm sure after the COVID restrictions are loosened up a little bit there, it'll be a lot smoother because we had to clear the gym and everything. Yo, I'll just say this. We got to sneak drinks in there, though, in July when we're back up there.
We mean sneak drinks.
Listen, they don't allow outside. It's like Boo Williams where they don't allow any outside stuff. And they charge like crazy for drinks. Food prices, fair. Drink prices, outrageous. $4.50 for a Gatorade.
What?
Bro. Max went and got 2 Gatorades and 2 sodas. It was $20.50.
Man, you almost made me curse up here.
But an order of chicken tenders and fries is $8, which isn't outrageous at all. Wow. They were good. It's crazy. Wow. It's a crazy world we live in. I'll just say this. We take Rock Hill for granted sometimes.
Facts.
We really do.
Facts. Because we went to Spartanburg, and no disrespect to Spartanburg, but I was just...
It ain't Rock Hill. Let's leave it at that.
I was over that shit.
Facts. Definitely, we were 100% over that. But yeah, Final Four, quickly to wrap this up.
Yep.
How you feeling heading into it? I mean, I don't know when people are going to be listening to this. It might be over at this point, but
yeah. I'm excited about Houston and Baylor. Oh my God. Like I just feel like that's, we haven't gotten that game in college basketball all year where you're literally like on the edge of your seat and like, I'm so ready for this game. A game I'm looking forward to. Houston and Baylor. Hopefully Houston and Baylor. Then, Kellen, if you listen to this, brother, I love you. My bad. But the people want to see Baylor Gonzaga.
The people do want to see that. I want to see Houston win because Kellen's.
Yeah, that's our guy, man. Like it's literally like I was telling you yesterday, the other day. Like he literally would text me like an hour before tip the other day, and it was just like, all right, we were talking about something different, but it was actually Jaden Gardner we were talking about, but yeah, and but no, I'm rooting for Houston. I mean, my heart wants Houston to win it. I wouldn't mind if Baylor and Gonzaga got it on Monday night. I love watching Baylor play. Davion Mitchell, oh my God.
Whew.
Like that dude, that kid has played his way into the lottery, bro. Like every tournament you see a kid is kind of like do like that Dante DiVincenzo kind of thing where they're kind of like off the radar a little bit, but then they put themselves firmly in that first round. Davion Mitchell is that guy, and just Baylor's just fun to watch. I ain't gonna lie, I had a little smile a little bit when they beat Arkansas. I'm not gonna lie,
a little smirk,
a little, So, but it's cool. No.
Oh man. No, definitely. I feel like if Sasser and Grimes are hitting shots, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like a bar fight type game. Like it's gonna be
bar fight. Facts.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun. Also, don't think anybody beats Gonzaga, bro. I just think they're too good. Are they the best college basketball team since 2009 Carolina?
Could be.
Maybe the Anthony Davis Kentucky team. Maybe
that team wasn't that good. They were good. I mean,
Anthony and KG were really good.
I'm hating because Carolina should have beat them that year at Kentucky, and Carolina would have beat them that year had Kendall Marshall not broke his wrist.
Was that the Henson miss?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes. And then Kendall Marshall, I was at the game when Kendall Marshall broke his wrist against Creighton when the dude made a dirty play. Son of a bitch. But Carolina was gonna win the national championship that year, bro. Like it was another one. Like they were rolling, bro.
Poor Stillman got thrown into the fire.
And they still almost beat Kansas that game, bro.
Stillman wasn't even that bad.
No, he wasn't, but it's just
he wasn't Kendall. Wasn't close to Kendall.
Yeah, nah. But Stillman was nah.
He did what he could, but what he could.
Yeah, for sure.
That's for Stillman. I remember like, yo, who's this guy? Like, who's this guy? No, I feel like the two guys that have like crazy boosted their draft stock have been Mitchell and the point guard from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. I think Reeves.
Yeah. Austin Reeves.
Yeah, no, he went crazy too.
Yeah, he just put his name in like a couple days ago.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, no, I don't think anybody. That Gonzaga team is special. Like I can't get enough of Timmy Kispert Suggs. Like they
got 5 NBA players. They start at 5, bro. 5.
Yeah, and 3 of them are top 20 picks.
Right.
Like, and people, there's like a segment of people on Twitter like, Drew Timmy can't play in the NBA. I'm like, yo, are y'all watching the same game I'm watching?
Are y'all watching the same Drew Timmy? Did you see what he did to Evan Mobley?
Yeah, and Evan Mobley's a top 4 pick.
Bro, listen, I saw Timmy when me, Webb, and Donnie went to the Balls Life game a couple of years ago. Timmy was out there, yo. I was like, yo, that is a pro. That dude was so good, bro.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no. And that was a big test for him, too. That was kind of like, all right, well, here's your chance against Mobley. And he aced that test. So I don't think there's any – well, the last thing we should talk about is The Last Dance.
Right.
Rosters have been announced with it coming up this week. What are you so excited about just to see like all these guys have an opportunity to bring it out one last time?
I think it's just a perfect coronation for those guys, man, just to, show them that we love and appreciate them and, everything that they gave us. Like, so I just think they just need one more platform to
send off.
The send off. Yeah. Normally, the Josh Level Classics is something that's typically that you would see that, but they're not having that again this year. So, I think it was an opportunity for us to step up and kind of, to show our gratitude and appreciation. And, I mean, I'm excited, man. Unfortunately, it sucks that Jonas can't play. But, and then we're missing DeMarco Dunn, but that sucks too. Those are 2 big names we're missing. But I feel like the group that we got a really, really great group.
Yeah, nah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be great. Those guys have been through a lot over the past year or two. I can't imagine if the last year of my high school, like your senior year of high school, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. My senior year of high school was so much fun. Like that last year is always a ball, and they haven't really been able to experience it the way that they should. And this class of 2021 has really been the first class that the Hoop State Network has gotten to see for the majority of their high school career. So they've given so much to us. And you're right. Like when I think it was Simmons and Webb that kind of talked about the idea initially, you Simmons and Webb. Yeah. It was a no-brainer to go for it. So
I got to say this too. So the rosters came out today and everybody's just like, yo, East. Bro, listen to me when I tell you this. That West team is a complete team. Not saying the East isn't, but the West has point guards. They have shooters. They have defenders. They have size. They have athletes. They have everything you want on a team. And I'm going to be honest with you. If we're comparing 2 teams, which team they play more together, it's going to be the West.
Yep.
It's going to be the West.
Mm-hmm.
And you have kids on that team who don't give a shit about you or your name.
And the two that I'm looking at, the 3 are Freeman, Burnham, Thomas, and Pat. Really, those are the 4 that I'm like, they're ready to go. And then you look at each team has a couple guys that are kind of in that underrated category. You think about like a Kenny or a Cooper, Stephon Harris, and you look at Caden Dawkins, KJ Garrett, Trey Benham. Like those guys can all everybody on this lineup.
Jarvis Moss.
Imagine Jarvis Moss and Trey Benham running off pin downs on either side.
That's gonna be a great bump. And I gotta say this too. Everybody, when people in the comments, why I know this person or why I know that person.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I have taken upon myself the majority of these kids to reach out. Simmons got the guys to probably the last 8 to 10 guys was me reaching out to seeing who wants to play. So if there's a ball on that list that's not up there, I guarantee you they're not on the list because they declined or they didn't reply. So I can't be mad. You know, if there's a name that you could think of in that top 25, 30 guys in the state, they were asked to play.
And also, don't tag your second cousin that averaged 6 points a game in some random school and thinks that they should be.
Let's keep it a minute, bro. But also, too, we're having an unsigned senior game. Me and you, we'll actually talk. Probably not tonight. We'll do it tomorrow. I'm tired. We'll talk and figure out get these guys. I'm starting to kind of hit some of them, but the unsigned senior game will be Friday. We're going to do it on Friday night. Can be a good group of guys. Just got to start reaching out to everybody, confirm that they can play.
It shouldn't be too hard for them. I feel like that's a game that kids will want to play, and even if some can't, there's plenty. There's a lot of really good unsigned seniors in the state right now.
The list of kids, man, that I've kind of compiled a little bit, and you've seen it as well too. That's gonna be a really, really good game. It's gonna be competitive.
100%, and one that coaches should definitely tune into because I feel like that game in particular is going to be like, we're playing for a scholarship right here. So
it's gonna be some free bump on YouTube. So
you're welcome. Absolutely,
you're welcome.
So, coaches, just go to if anyone wants to watch that, be sure to head over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're inching close towards 18,000 subscribers. We want to get to 20K by the end of the summer.
Oh, they're not gonna be showing this video, are they?
Maybe. Why?
See if you can see that. He's it.
Oh,
I got it.
Maybe there's a couch open somewhere. We'll figure it out.
Him. I got him.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Yeah. It's a long drive back to the K. Oh man. All right. So The Last Dance, can't wait for it. It's going to be a ton of fun. That's basically it. I can't really think of anything else to talk about. You have anything?
Nah, that's it, man. I'm just, making sure that he gets there.
He's one we want there. And we need there. I'm sure he wants to be there too.
Yeah. We're gonna make sure that he gets there. So this will get taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, for everybody listening, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and head over to hoopstatestore.com to stay ready. We'll be back in Rock Hill to stream some games, including the Last Dance game and the Unsigned Senior game this coming weekend, the 9th through the 11th. There will be a ton of good AAU stuff. I know Team Loaded NC, Team Loaded Virginia, Team United, CC Elite. I think Coach Ellis is bringing his team, Team Charlotte. It's going to be fun. So be sure to stay tuned with us. For Rob Bridgers, this is Miles Mastrocola. We will see y'all very soon.